All right, again. Well, it's 9:03, so let's go ahead and get started. So I first want to say thank you for registering. This is, again, like if you're just joining us, the thing that we've been talking about, this is a new series that we're putting out. And it's basically me, who is an analytics and data person, inviting other people from the brand side to talk about like CRO and tear down some sites live, because what we find is that not enough people are freaking testing. Like we're just making all these decisions and we don't really know what's going to work. And actually, testing can also be just a little bit intimidating for people. Like sometimes it's intimidating because there's so much science behind it, and also like can be a little bit discouraging if you don't win quickly. And so you really need to learn how to, make the decisions, what to test, how to test. And that's really what we're trying to do here, is build a community of people who are asking the questions. What should we be testing? What should we be looking at from both a brand perspective and an analytics perspective? And so welcome in. My name is Mia. I'm the CEO of Clairvoyant. We're an analytics firm. I've been working with lots of brands to try to understand like user behavior. A lot of people don't do analytics the way I do it. Analytics is like a trigger word for me, in fact, because everybody's like, it's a report, it's a dashboard. What really gets me going is understanding why your customer is there and what is going on in their mind as they're making those decisions. And I try to create that data to diagnose how we are showing up in these moments. And so I'm here today with somebody who really gets that at a brand level every day, the lovely Katie Riley. She's the senior director of e-commerce at For 11 Lemons, which is a well-known brand for like boho and apparel. Katie, what else would you add?
Gosh, you already said so much. I would just add that I think our working relationship started with my kind of question of like, what else? What else is there? Who else? Like, what is our customer? What is she doing and why? And I think something that Mia has brought up about our website over the past almost 2 years is there is so much why happening on your site. There are so many different paths that our customer is taking, and there's so many different outcomes that are happening with each action that is occurring on our website, and kind of like, what more can we do with that? So I would just say that's kind of been our journey, is like the understanding of the why and how to change that into more actionable conversions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Katie's asking, just so you know, like the way Katie's why started out with, we met in the GA4 course. I was teaching about Google Analytics 4, and she was about to be like, I'm about to throw this out and go buy something expensive. And then she came to the class and was like, oh, wait, actually, I think we can make this work for me to answer those why questions, which is why it's so incredible to see her growth so far and how you've used your analysis platform, the free one, to help make decisions. And now you're actually, have better conversion rates on mobile than you do desktop, which not everyone can say. Very few e-commerce can say that. So yes, I think that, knowing how to actually take this like minutia insights about shopper behavior that you get in GA and apply it to your website has been pretty incredible to watch. So between me and Katie, everybody, we've seen enough to know like what the conversions are, what the conversion problems are. And it's almost never design. It's never your template. It's actually clarity. It's usually trust issues. It's usually friction. It's usually timing. And so today what we're going to do is really pull back the curtain on 6 real sites. We didn't have very much prep time, so you're getting this like really live, one analyst, one operator. So let's get into it. Before, I want to set a little bit of context so that you can understand where we're coming from. Most teams don't do CRO. I would venture to say we're partners with Visually, and we're partners with Shoplift, and all of us are kind of singing the same song. Why doesn't anybody test? And the rebuttal that we get all the time is like, well, we follow best practices, or, listen, that sucks. Because that's just part of like best practices are basically somebody else's past success that's turned into advice. And by the time you heard of it, it's probably already too late. So like you can look anywhere around, like somebody else is using your theme, or, these are like copycat, like cookie cutter websites, and it's stifling innovation. So you're not going to out convert your competitors by doing the exact same thing as everybody else is doing. So we're going to give you a better model today. Before we begin, I would love to hear from you on what's holding you back. So this will help give us context on some of the things that you might be struggling with. So if you do that quick poll for us, I can reveal that later at the end of the program. And let's see kind of where we are together as a community. So first things are like, let's talk about like data-driven empathy. That's what we say. The data is for empathy. Like it's for KPIs, it's for keep it simple, stupid, or it's like, do your basic dashboarding thing. But the real reason why we look at data as merchandisers, as operators of an e-commerce property, is to really discover the buying journey. And that buying journey isn't a funnel, right? It's emotional, it's messy, it's non-linear. And so we have to create all these things, quizzes, filters, like different ways to get her to get to the product that she's trying to get to get her from like doubt to advocacy. And that is the real starting point. So you have to know that like CRO is about unpacking that whole journey to try to unblock from discovery down to the conversion. And to fully leverage a real CRO program, we have to also recognize that good CRO isn't just about design or the communication. It's like a system with all these things. We bring together 3 disciplines: behavioral data, domain expertise, and that gives the domain expertise that's going to give like your brand context, your industry context. And then the design is communication, both words and visual. So you need all 3 to build experiences that can convert, because the conversion doesn't happen on your site, it happens in a mind. And that's why in this session, is led by both analytics and brand. So I'm going to flash this for a little bit, but I will say it is highly complicated. This is a kind of an easy way to think about the levers of conversion. And I'm going to reference this as Katie and I start to look through some sites, and making sure that you have that vocabulary that is, things that marketers do and things that where we meet users. And on the user side, like it's like, what's going to lead to conversion? Are they motivated? What are they motivated to do? Learn, explore, buy? That's going to make a difference on how you show up. What kind of anxiety do they bring to the table? And on the marketing side, it's like, what's our value proposition? What incentives do we provide? And what is the friction that we might be causing through our bad design or bad copy? So, I think understanding that framework will help us understand like how Katie and I approach talking about these websites. And then also finally understanding like, this is a part that most teams skip, that like CRO is really a ritual, like changing things, researching, looking at the data, like finding out what could be done better, where it can be done better, but then what are we learning as an institution as a result of this behavior that we can now observe. So those are the things that I want to preface you to say, every win, every failure in CRO, it's going to go into a brain trust. And so if you are the kind of company that, we test a little bit here and there, or we tried this and then it didn't work, you really have to kind of keep at it as a ritualized practice to really be able to gain the benefit. So that said, without further ado, let's get to the websites. Let me start pulling up my screen on a couple things. So the first one we're going to take a look at is Bellamy Hair. So a couple things on this. I'm going to ask you, Katie, when we take a look at this website, so we're going to first look at home. We're going to do this. We're going to go homepage. We're going to go product collections page, and then a product detail. And so if you can't see it right away, Bellamy Hair sells hair extensions. What are your first impressions, Katie?
Have you switched over your site? yet. We still see the
Oh, oops, sorry. Yeah, here we go. Bellamy Hair, bellamyhair.com.
let's see.
So I'm going to do a quick scroll down here. So we've got this discover tape-ins, learn more, silk seam hair extensions. You can see that, and then there's like a trademark, but not really an explanation of what that is. Maybe somebody might know. And then on the third scroll, we get a before and after. We got some social media, the tape-ins, the pretty long scrolling. It looks like they have a beauty bar as well.
Mhm.
And then let's take a look actually. And here's like, well, let's do this one at a time. Let's do homepage first. What are your first impressions here? Are you having any sense of the level?
I'm not as I used my backstory a little bit. I used to do hair before I made the switch to e-commerce,
Oh,
which surprised me.
mhm.
But I would say, because I know more about the hair industry, seeing kind of this like professional level and then different types of products, I understand. But I think if somebody is coming that is not super well versed with that, they might not understand what the TM or trademark is, or understand which type of extension they might need for themselves. So I almost don't know if having the different types there on homepage
Mhm.
better, or of kind of like helping them decide which one to get into would help guide them on their journey better.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, you say that from like this hairdresser perspective, is like, which one do I want to use? But also, like, if I look at this copy here, it's like wake up with fuller, thicker, and longer hair every day with semi-permanent extensions. To me, that signals they're trying to sell this to the user.
Yes.
And I wonder if that's something like, yeah, like the trademarks, like if I were coming in here from social media, I would say, this is so brand heavy. I do not know what my first thing to do.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
there is a learn here, but I mean, what are you feeling on that? Like what are some things that you would like to say, okay, if I came in here from a social media, like I saw one of these like TikTok ads and I came here,
I think
what are some things that you'd like to test?
if this is directed towards the consumer, it would kind of be more of a journey to find the best type for you as a like D2C, as opposed to I'm a hairstylist, I'm coming here and I know what the difference is already.
Hmm. Yeah, like I would like to see some of these, from an analytics standpoint. I would like to see, some of these scroll through, because obviously whoever's coming here only has one of these hair colors, right? You only have one of these hair colors. And wouldn't it be interesting to test, like, discover your dream hair and just start with a color and then change the whole content as a result of that quiz? I mean, I think that would be really engaging, especially for like a first time social media person.
Yes, definitely.
All right, let's look at this. This they shop all. So like, let's say we got this far and like we shopped all.
Mhm.
I see this a lot. I mean, this is I think very helpful. Your
Yeah.
color concierge. But what are you thinking about other decisions that might need to be made on
I
this site?
I think something that might be extremely interesting to test would, or to understand in their filtering, what is the most clicked on filter type. If product
Hmm.
is the most popular, then lead with that. But my assumption would be shade. I think somebody would want to see products in their shade first, and then would it be more beneficial to be showing a color swatch as opposed to just the fonts, the text?
Right. Or another thing that I would like too, because color is such a personal thing, especially for hair, that like, would you know chocolate mahogany versus hot toffee versus mochaccino brown caramel?
Exactly. Maybe that is too deep down the filter. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more broad for colors to begin with, and then within the color family, you can kind of filter in deeper.
Yeah, because I think the first thing is like, is this for me? Can I get to it? Like these decisions that are being made are so fast that like if you could get her to color first, I think that you would get her into just starting to understand the product types and
Mhm.
differences.
Yeah.
What about, okay, now we're looking at a PDP here. Now this is an interesting treatment here with
Mhm.
all of the different shades. Oh, and of course, like the first thing I clicked on is also sold out.
Hmm.
But what are your thoughts here?
I
Let's go
think
down. We
I think again with because I looked at this and my first thought is, are the color families sorted in order of most clicked on?
hmm
When you go after it says all black, brown, whatever. That was
hmm
my first question. And if it is not, is changing that sort order going to be more beneficial to you by showing what the most clicked on color family is? I think a lot of sites default into sorting just by color name. And
Mm,
if your most prominent color on my website is pink, if we're leading with pink each time, are we going to see better conversions?
right. Yeah, that makes sense. Or also like if somebody's already done some color filtering on the previous page,
Keep saving those filter options to show you what you just filtered on.
right? Because this is like decision overload. Like this is just too much choice. And it's God help you if you're blonde here, right? I mean, you're blonde, so or ish, right? And so God help you. It's like I was at this one, and it's also like just a little picture. I know that they have a. So I mean, I think it's great to also have these like little guidances, like choose your color, get color matched. But I don't know what these go to. I can only assume that they're going to some more quizzes, but I think that that would be more helpful.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on to another site. Okay, so this site, actually, I think this is really great. This is Hideaway. This is a water bottle that you can collapse down. And we had a pretty funny conversation about it because Katie and I are right now in different countries than America. And I have a teenage daughter who's like 18 Stanleys in the cupboard. And she just always wants to buy like this one, but this one. And it's like, I can't even get my coffee cups back in the cupboard. So this is very exciting to me. Um, Katie, what are your thoughts on first of all, like Hideaway's brand promise and their execution?
Um, I mean, first of all, I agree with you. I'm kind of opposite. I'm a non-Stanley person because they're so big. They're kind of so culty with and like trendy with influencers and so forth. So I am very much into this Hideaway. Space is a terrible thing to waste. I have a similar cup like this for traveling because I travel so often. So I love it. But I do think that it could be interesting to kind of play on that a little bit more, just because of how Stanley has become this brand that has overtaken this market share so much, that to me is something that like really sticks out. So really leaning into that space saving, um, I would kind of go further.
Yeah, I mean, and these are kind of speaking to like the value proposition that I was like, okay, well, space is a terrible thing to waste. I like that value proposition. And I wonder the two things about this. Like I like that they're showing the product and how it works, but would it be funnier if like a before and after, of my daughter's of my kitchen cupboard, right? With space as a chair. And that's another technique that we use, which is like framing what my product is around could juxtapose against these other products versus I think the video execution is just technical, really.
Mhm.
um but even things like, do you really want to be that person with like 18 Stanley Cups, or tell me you're American without telling me you're American, kind of thing. And then here's the thing too, when you go to shop all products, let's like move to another test. But when you go to shop all products, this is actually where you end up landing. And this is kind of like the first time that we get a sense of this sort of like Pendleton blanket camper, like $20,000 camper. Um, what do you feel about like that next execution?
I I think that it might be narrowing your customer slightly and narrowing the use of the product.
Say more.
I see their camping. I don't see me being able to use this for traveling on an airplane or for my vacation in Europe. I kind of see this as a brand that's more closely related to a Patagonia, an REI, when if that is not who I am, maybe I'm not as connected to the brand.
Hmm. Yeah, and also I think that this also kind of indicates like there's one use case.
Mhm.
Like it's not, maybe it's not just you, but it's like, okay, and we are talking about value proposition. Like notice here that Hideaway, everybody, doesn't have a value prop verbally on here. It just says shop all products, but like at the first blush, when you go to shop all, you're here and it's like, this is for camping. It's not for your everyday, it's not for your pocket, it's not for, all these other things you could do. And then it just kind of gets into, you know, the products itself. And I think that that's like, why would I buy it? What is it for? This is the potential. I love what you said, Katie, about limiting your potential audience here. All right, well, let's look also, so there's a couple things too that I want to see on a product detail page. This is their gallery. What are your initial thoughts here on reasons to buy?
I like the video. I would say those product images, I'm not reading at all.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I like to tell people if they have a product like this to add things in their gallery that show proofs. But in this case, I think it went a little bit, they got a little extra with it. That it does feel a little bit like, maybe a really good test would be, maybe um, doing this split, like as you go through the gallery, flip top straw, rigid structure, some profile, or something like that. Like it does feel like a lot to get through.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely better than some products like this just show like the cup in by itself, like the studio shot, and then the in the camping shot, like
Yeah.
somebody out drinking like with it. So I think it's better at that. I think like sometimes with some of these, like too much text to
Mm-hmm.
read, it's not scannable, that I really miss some of these.
Yeah, I think some of the social proof could be pulled out and displayed in a different way. I like the cup feature image. I think that's a nice one to show in a carousel, but maybe more of these like social proof type imagery could be better displayed in a different way. That
Yeah,
just
for sure.
more so you don't miss it.
Totally. Or even just like a little badge right there. Just so sometimes less is more, people. That's one of my favorite things to do on a test too, is actually we've got so much to say about our products. Sometimes like, yeah, just like what if we pull away some things? Like just do elimination tests, like you would do an elimination diet, finding an allergy of some kind. Like, well, let's take away this proof point. Did it change the conversion rate? Nope. Okay, we didn't need it. Like take away this one. So that's another test that potentially Hideaway could do, to see if which of these value props are actually hitting. Okay, let's move on to the next site. So on to food. So this is an interesting website. This is squarebaby.com. This is a baby food site. And what I love about it is that this basically, the value propositions, like the best nutrition for your baby, made fresh and delivered. That's awesome. So easy. Dietitian designed, veggie forward, balanced meals, allergen. This I think could be a little bit more clear, I think. But Katie, you're vegan. Like, what are you looking for here?
I am vegan, but I am not a parent. However, I think that this website does such a great job. One, with its value prop, two, with the social proof that of like why the most trusted organic baby food. Kind of digging through the site, it is so clear about allergens, about what you're feeding your baby, kind of all of the different trust badges that it shows.
Mhm.
I really liked this site.
There's nothing you would change.
Yeah, I understood what to do.
That's great. I mean, I honestly, I think it's so interesting that I almost wonder if they are testing. I mean, we could probably check it out in the code, but
Mhm.
I think that the order of things are so on point to the decision-making process as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, some things that I see by contrast, I didn't see a jar of food, right? You see like little cute hands holding it. The social proof comes next. I mean, because baby food, first of all, I am a mom, and if you're going to explore this, you're going to be like, well, who else likes it, right? Do will kids actually eat this? This is my number one question. So it's like, okay, these are on all these. We've been publishing all these things. Most trusted, like all of the organic stuff. Like, is it really good for my kid? And then how it works. And this is like on to basically a subscription. So you personalize it, you choose it, and in that whole, a lot of us are putting quizzes on our sites, and some of us are not knowing why we're putting quizzes on our sites sometimes, right? Like in this baby food example, I think it's really easy where you actually, if you click there, you have to get started by talking about like your meal plan, what you're trying to build. You can also go through here and learn about the different baby menus. So I think that's pretty cool. One of the things, like, what are you thinking here, Katie, on this like actual exploring the menu? If somebody's like, all right, let me get to know you a little bit better. Let me get to know you a little bit better. Square
Um,
baby.
I mean, I think it's an interesting way to show a filter. I feel like it's kind of different. Something that I am aware of because I have nieces and nephews is like there is kind of like an allergen awareness connected to stages of development. I think that would be something interesting to kind of include as more education in this, which is something that I don't think I saw on this website.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that makes sense. And as well, like it can be, if you're just getting to know, it's a little bit overwhelming to look at all of it because it is well, I think it's more so like these different like tags. It's just a little bit too much, and then all of the ingredients here right away. But I mean, already, sorry, you had me at mango chia pudding. Like, where's cashew chicken, beef stew? I think they could do a test where you don't have these here, so that it can feel a little bit less overwhelming, and then you just start.
I also wonder if there is something of maybe it's a filter by age, where you have like once you're starting to introduce food, that is, but
Oh
then
yeah.
break it down by that way. So instead of giving me all these choices, I can just select my baby's age, and it's going to give me all of the options that I would feed at that age instead of showing me everything all at once.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because yeah, for a busy mother, or especially a baby with a new baby or something like that, like like what do they need? I don't know. Healthy fats, extra fiber, I'm not sure. So
Yeah.
an age is great guidance. Like it works in a toy shop. It should definitely work here. Well, let's move on to new food, actually. Let's talk about so this is a fun site because everybody, this is in Spanish. But I thought it would be good for us to do it based on feels. If you can't read Spanish, don't worry. This is also baby food for your fur babies, food for Joe in Spain, in Europe. And what's working for you here, Katie?
Um, it's working. A fun fact, my dogs are also vegan, so I was not able to find anything for them on this website. However, I do think that there was a lot of good things happening here with product education, ingredients. I think dogs are people's children, so people are looking for the kind of the same quality that they would look for their children's foods. That does really come across on the website as you kind of go down the page. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, God, there's so many choices, right? Like, I mean, I like that there's like, okay, they do it based on their size, and looks like there's like a plan. I like how they break down the plan to by day.
So do I. I had a question on this, is like what data is being collected. One, how often is that being used? But then how often is it being used? And people are converting on that in the session. And if they are, is that information being stored as first party data in your CRM? Because I do feel like there's something to be done. Like, my dog's muy pequeño, this is how much I spend per day. How am I utilizing those values in emails, in loyalty programs, in SMS, and kind of like throughout the customer journey?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, then that makes sense for every subsequent. So yeah, the price change as your dog is bigger, that makes sense. Oh, we ended up on the Pero page, but yeah, I mean, I think that what's interesting to me about this is that, you know, there's like motion for one, also helps. Um, Pay attention to this design right here. It kind of helps you. It almost actually draws your eye from one to the other as you scroll down. But that piece here, I think it's so far down.
Yes. Yeah.
Price sensitivity is like question number one, always on all things. And they don't have like a lot of SKUs. So, you know, why? I mean, $1 a day or testing $1 a day versus what we typically see is any subscription is this much a month.
Yeah.
I've never seen it broke down to $1 a day. And I think that is a very interesting test. Same package, different pricing strategies.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that that's a great value proposition. $1 a day to feed a dog seems very affordable for this quality of what you're getting.
Yeah, 100%. So like, you know, if you're looking at your sites and you have something that is like subscription based, for anybody that's on here right now, like think about what that might mean for you. Is can I reposition this as not a subscribe and save on monthly, but have it subscribe and save for this much a day, even though they're charged monthly? That's just a different way to present the same offer. I think one other thing on this that I was like a little bit iffy about was these. Like, what is food for Joe? And I think it's great, but like I got a little sketched out by the emoji situation going on this site. Like, what, I mean, does it scream like serious to you?
Not exactly. It just made me question how else the emojis are kind of embedded into the ethos of the brand. Are they used in other marketing areas? Are those successful? And could testing something maybe still in like a hand-drawn way, but is a little bit more elevated, increase conversions?
Yeah, like if I'm trying to, if they have actually, so if there's two potential hypotheses that I think could come from this. I think like the first one is, you know, everything else on this site is very well done and elevated, and the use of the emoji seems somewhat disconnected from that. You know, is like one hypothesis could be, well, the use of the emojis here are actually making it relatable because you see this in TikTok and all these other places all the time in social media. Is it appropriate here? And yeah, would a more elevated, more brand centric treatment of these icons develop trust at first blush a little bit better?
Yeah.
All right, let's burn through. Let's move through another site. Okay, so we're going to look at two wellness sites. And I'm just going to juxtapose these because I feel like the things that we want to talk that we'll end up talking about here are a little bit related. So if you're selling a, some kind of thing in a package that's supposed to be good for your health, these are some different techniques we can take. So native path, it's it's a wellness product. And the other site is this site called Ketone, which is an energy product. And so let's first take on, I want everybody on the community to start thinking about this. I'm selling something in a package that's good for your health. So let's first start with native path. My question to you, Katie, is on, well, let's say, what are your first impressions?
After scrolling through the whole page, I did feel the why choose native path told a much better story than just their kind of brand mission statement that was higher on the page.
And where do you see that?
If you scroll up one more, this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
these would be all of the reasons why I would choose a supplement. Whereas if you scroll up more, the mission statement, although is great, I feel like that is not as, it's not going to make me make a decision as quickly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these too, users are coming to these types of sites from social media a
Mhm.
lot, right? It's like some affiliate marketer, like, I use this. And so you get here and you actually are coming it from a moldable device. And one of the things that we do, or one of the things that we love to do is actually look at these in a mobile environment where we can then let's just do that for fun. I mean, and if this is your site, don't worry. I mean, we're actually doing this not on a mobile device. It's actually in my browser. So don't worry. It can do a little funny things, but it can do funny things when you're in my computer browser, not on a mobile device. But when you look at the above the fold, like we talk about that a lot, right? What is above the fold? It's like, here's the big image and a carousel. Oh, actually pretty big carousel, actually. I don't know where I began. And oh, the carousel changes with the CTA as well.
Mhm.
And then you get into, right, like in a mobile environment, people really don't read.
Yeah, I agree with that. Exactly. Text heavy. And although a great mission statement, probably not something that someone's going to connect with as quickly as you need them to.
Hmm. And like, when we say, okay, so there's a shop by category subsection. Yeah, 4 lines of text. Absolutely, Joe. I agree with you like that. But like also we're like shop by category, hydration, supplements, collagen, merchandise, new, bone health. These are our categories.
Mhm.
Like, tell me about choice making at this moment. What are your
I'd be
feelings?
really curious to test this against a non-carousel. Are they
Mm,
really going through all of them, and how often are they clicking through to a collection here as opposed to just seeing what they want and clicking into it?
right. And potentially making it, maybe even like little tiles, like
Yes,
merchandise
tiles.
tiles.
Yes.
Right. And like, how would you know what to put on there?
Yeah.
For me, I mean, it would obviously be like best selling categories.
Mhm.
Like, is it, and what for me, what I see this as like new products. Okay, we see that a lot, but it's like very rarely is somebody at your site to solve a problem. I want to see everything new.
Yeah, I definitely think that that is a fashion forward collection type. And somebody that has affinity towards your brand that is coming to see what you have that is new. I wouldn't do that for my supplement company because I'm going for either what I know I want or maybe even bestsellers. Like I think that might be a much better collection type to try.
Mm-hmm.
Just new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And I also like that there's bone health and hydration as categories. And I would prefer to see like actually supplements, I think is just like, well, that's everything,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Isn't that everything? Like I would rather see something like um instead of collagen, skin health. And it's actually in their navigation, like shop by health focus. So if you
Mhm.
look at the navigation and you're opening this up, muscle recovery, like now I would be very curious to see on this navigation because this shows intent.
Yeah. Change your homepage nav tiles to health focus instead of more generic categories.
Right. And like on shop all, this like shop all is just honestly, I think it's just a template. Like shop all is a template to navigation and all themes everywhere. Is it?
I'd probably say yes.
Because right, but if it's like, okay, shop by health focus, we're getting into problem solving. Why is this person here? And so, yeah, I agree. Like, I think thinking of all these different ways to help somebody narrow to why they're here today
Yeah.
is the main.
I also saw, I think it might be better represented on desktop view, but when you click the shop by health focus nav link, it takes you to a landing page, the PLP of just all products, and then you need to filter down. I thought it might be much more, if you scroll down,
Mhm.
I thought it would be a much more leading journey to have them click on their health focus and then kind of you get everything instead of now having to just look on the side. I thought it might benefit that journey more
Yeah, because even looking at the side, there's a lot to
with the
lot.
filter.
There's a lot of filter going on. Like, just to even help the user orient on like maybe separating the filter scroll on the scroll too.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I mean, or even, getting these collapsed. It looks like they're just open. They start all open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, what is everybody in the comments saying? I'm curious. I saw a couple things like flash through. Let me pop over to that. What great ideas are you coming up with, gang? Yeah, oh, pathways by symptom. Yeah, or even like now in the day and age when everybody has a damn quiz on their website, there should be a quiz on this website. I think that's a great way to help somebody like navigate around and narrow on all these products. Okay, let's contrast. Let's contrast now. Let's look at ketone, another thing in a bottle that we're selling. And I mean, I think you guys are going to see a lot of similar things that are going on here to the baby, square baby who we love. But what do you see, Katie?
Yeah, I think the content inclusions are that high up make me more interested in the product. Just if all of these different content partners and are speaking about it, especially triathlete, like health, it feels like it's backed by many places, which is going to make me want to kind of dig in deeper.
Yeah. I mean, it's like whereas the one site is really saying it's very our brand focused value prop.
Yeah.
We were created by doctors. We were created by this. This is our mission. We're here for that. This one, by contrast, is like, I'm selling you the outcome
Mhm.
of this product. It's the high performance energy in this bottle. It's not like talking about the product at all.
Yeah. I also
Um,
thought this video does what I wish the Hideaway video did, where it showed me all of the different types of people that use the product. It's not
mm,
just one athlete, it's men, women, and athletes across many different verticals, for lack of a better word.
yeah. And also, who knew that there was a ketone month? That's something I love that. That's great. I also love how like this is a really different banner. Sometimes we can get very diminutive with the banners in
Mhm.
e-commerce. Like this banner is like so loud because you put the like in this context, I like the emojis. In this context, it's like check me out. I bold something, like my shop all like how many of you have a banner where it's like all the same weight, all the same text, right? And like an underlined link with no chains, right? So these are just some like very, very um n- like I want to say demure. It's very demure change on a small little feature right here that I wonder if this is a good test for you to be like, does the banner hit? Is it noticeable enough? This even has like a bigger font than I normally see. Um, so yeah, like even like the big things aside, having, social proof, having allowing the customer to see themselves right away, and that shows that you have empathy and you understand where they're coming from, and that their value proposition isn't all the science that went into this. So I assume happened, right? It's all about you, the buyer, and what your outcome is.
Yeah, I felt that the product ingredients and certifications are almost the afterthought of what the product can do for you. And I think that that was an interesting kind of switch into somewhat of like the other websites were showing.
Mm. Yeah, and I'm curious too, like since this is an actual subscribe um type of product. Oh, and also they did use that tactic. How much is it per serving? Actually, let's take a look. So there's like the no caffeine shot, the caffeine shot, um, no caffeine multi-serving. Oh, flexible dosing buy in bulk, and then the bundles. So let's go into like just say, one product detail page and see what we think about the upsell. I think that it's very normal to push someone into a subscription. And I sometimes wonder about, is this offer like it's always the offer that I'm like, is it the right offer?
Mm.
Because the subscribe and save is it's hard for it's hard to win for a net new, like new to brand.
Mhm.
Like I'm new to brand. I've got all the, you know, social proof, all the accolades, and I'm here looking at, which is pretty common is on these types of sites, is the automatic to subscribe. What would you test here?
The select quantity, what is the smallest you can buy? Is it 24? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is something that is maybe a smaller, a harder, or something that isn't as challenging to kind of bite into as a net new customer. 24 at a time seems like a lot at one time if I've never tried this.
Hmm.
I agree. I like swatches as opposed to drop downs for most things. I think it's just one less thing someone has to do for both the quantity and the flavor.
Hmm. I think also, I feel like it's like if you were a first time buyer here, um, this is a lot of selling. Like if you're as good as right, everybody says you are, why are we like, can we, this is one of those elimination diets. Like, do we have to give a 10% lifetime discount? Like if I'm new to brand, does a 10% lifetime discount appeal to me, maybe 30% off your first month, or maybe a 60-day, maybe it's like, and this is where personalization comes in. Because like you guys, you might not have a personalization tool, but you could certainly run this test and say, all right, first time buyer is going to be maybe, yeah, like they're not sure. 24 is a lot. Could you do a 12? Could you do a 12 shot and only do like pause, adjust, or cancel anytime? It's like, what's the what's the throwaway money? Like the Disney Plus subscription that you forgot about, right? Like those are some things that I would be testing in terms of like the offer for new versus return, and maybe there's a business reason for this, right? Maybe 12 shots sucks to it's the
Yeah.
same price to ship it.
Yeah. I mean, we do, as for our marketing and our ad spend, all of everything that we are paying for is based on profitability, on that net new customer profitability. And we are adjusting offers and our pricing strategy based around that. So that could be the same thing that's happening here.
Right. And so, yeah, and here they're selling it hard, because then there's this offer, and then there's a limited time offer on your first order. And so it's like, are we too offer heavy? All right. Well, gang, I think that is the end of all of the sites. And let me just like wrap it back up to share with you all of the different things that you put in your let's see what we've learned from you. All right, what's been holding you back from a great CRO program? It's like, we test, but it's not strategic, it's random, very normal. I think that when we and then no time or team gets deprioritized. Yes, it can feel too many tools, not enough insight. This is interesting. Nobody's like, no budget, no clarity. We're good, actually. So nobody in here in this camp. But I think it's the hardest part about testing is not knowing where you're going with all the learnings. And that's where the data science piece comes in. It's like making sure that you can keep in, like a lexicon, a journal of all of the things that you've learned as a result, because it can feel like you're just spinning wheels and throwing spaghetti against the wall. And that's what leads to churn on the software, by the way. Like I've heard from a lot of e-commerce directors, like, we use Shoplit for a time and then we turn it off. And so I think that the two things that help with not feeling random and feeling strategic is, one, keeping a very good record of everything, I'm sure in your copious amounts of spare time. A lot of your e-commerce and everybody's stretched thin, but keeping a record, and then also, taking a look back and be like, what did we all learn? And also understanding, well, why did we test that thing? What were we going to discover as a result of that test? In some cases, hypothesis can sound like, well, we think if we move social proof up the page, that's going to increase trust. Okay, that's a hypothesis, but not, oh, my competitor had that on their website, let me put that on my website. It's not really a hypothesis. So I think those are some things to get better. And also, just if you're curious, by the way, like this is not even fully baked, like we're building it literally as we speak. But I've built a school on school.com to learn about decision science and the psychology for CRO. So if any of you are interested in taking that course, it's free for now and it's in progress. So I'd love to, if you've taken my GA4 course, or if anybody's, we'll upload it there too, so that it's all in one place. But brand new CRO school out to learn about all these concepts, psychologies, biases, decision points, and hopefully that helps lead you to a more strategic CRO program. Katie, thank you so much.
Of course, anything for you.
For all of your insight. I love looking at other websites with you, and looking forward to with anybody on here, if you're interested in doing this with me. This is again, mission driven to get more people testing, talking about tests, and building that community. So appreciate you. and we'll send out the recording in a couple of days. So get to the CRO school. Replay will be sent within the next 24, 48 hours. And if you want a free mini audit, just holler. I'm the only Mia Umanos in the world. So you can just hit me up on LinkedIn. Anyway, this was it, everybody. Real time, real pages, real strategy, no rehearsing. Thanks for joining.